the libraries, the municipalities, the bottoms of the oceans and the waters of the world, sailing and traversing the air, any and everywhere God is. Therefore, all is well. I'm giving thanks for our senior minister, Reverend Dereca Blackman. I'm giving thanks for the message that is pouring forth and coming through, that we see with the eyes behind the eye and we hear with the ears behind the ear, and we are centered in the oneness. And so for this and so much more, I am thankful. I allow and know that the teens and the youth ministry are vibrant and connected. Our youth ministry, our music ministry, our board of directors, our congregants, our members, our guests, all are blessed and a blessing. So with this gratitude, I let it be. And join me in anchoring this by declaring Ashe, Ashe. Amen. Amen. And so it is. And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for flowing with us today. Welcome to all who are stepping into this space, and continue to flow wherever you are at any time. I want to now have an opportunity for us to hear from and continue to flow with our new senior minister. And she is so excited to be here with us, and we are excited to have her here, aren't we? Yes. We have called her in, and she has answered yes to our yes, and she keeps saying yes and loving it. So, without further ado, the Reverend Dereca Blackman.
Good morning, East Bay.
Good morning.
Oh, yes, I like the sound of that very, very much. I am, as has been said, my name is Reverend Dereca Blackman, and I am the senior minister at East Bay Church. I don't think I'm ever going to get tired of smiling when I say that. I don't think it's ever going to happen. I don't want it to happen. You make that happen. And I use she or they gender pronouns, and I always like to let you know what my gender pronouns are, because you can't tell what they are by looking at me. And it's just a small act of allyship to our folks in the non-binary transgender communities. I also want to take a moment to just acknowledge the ground on which we live, move, and have our being, and the Native peoples who loved and honored this place, the Ohlone folk, and those whose names and nations we do not know. We just want to acknowledge that we are the beneficiary of their love of this land. And so I just wanted to take a moment. I like to start with gratitude. It's a good place to start every day if you're able. And while we're doing gratitude, I just want to acknowledge, we're not calling her Reverend yet, but she knows that we are claiming our sister Carol Johnson Williams. You want to talk about a sacred yes? I have changed the entire order of service. And Carol's like, I'm doing what now? And she just said, yes, I will, and delivers it, right? With power and grace and peace. And I'm eternally grateful. We are eternally grateful for you. I want to acknowledge our practitioners who are showing up and showing out. Stayed. I hear Reverend Dr. Ona was here till 1 o'clock last week praying with folks, and so I just appreciate our prac core. Where is Arlene? Arlene is in the back. Can I just have you give a round of applause? Yes, that's right. All of that love. All of that love. I have worked 1 week, and it was a short week. And if I told you all the things that I saw Arlene do in that 1 week, service would be over. And so we appreciate the way you do what you do so tirelessly. So, well, she get tired. I just need y'all to not say, because we could use some help in the office and some other places on Sundays and whatnot. But the dedication, the number of years, the variety of things. We're talking about yes today. That's a powerful yes right there. I want to acknowledge JJ, who has come in on the fly, and last night I sent a video. Already about 100 of you have seen it, and we'll talk more about that, but JJ whipped it up and edited. I didn't mean to put that on you yesterday, but it doesn't matter because that's another yes. I want to acknowledge the board. If you are a member of the Board of Trustees, just raise your hand. Okay, we got the president in the house ready to go. They had a welcome for me yesterday, and I mean to tell you, if you didn't know, these folks throw down cooking. I am well fed. We had a ball, a feast, and I actually got to know more of them, just who they are as people. And I just really encourage you to get past the ideas of the ministers, the practitioners, the board. These are people who give their love and their time, and I just need you to know and honor that. And last but not least, I was really blessed this week to spend a couple of hours with who I called just the epitome of service, the heart of ministry. Ministry means to serve. Reverend Anthony. Can you just please give some love? That's 30 years. Reverend Anthony, his sister made her transition unexpectedly this week, so we just sent him back the love and the pastoral care that he has given to so many of us. And we bless you, and we love you, and we are here for you. Thank you for being who you are. And last but certainly not least, if you know anything about me, you know I love music. I am from Motown. I am of the hip-hop generation, which we demonstrated during our rehearsal this morning. And I just love music. And another sacred yes, I think what she said this morning is whatever you want, whatever you need, is our own Sharon D. Henderson, who is the director of Reflection. And with Sharon today, we have always the amazing Lee Henderson on bass. We have Vino on drums, Patrick on piano, Tony on guitar. Did I get that right? And they are here to make sure that right from the beginning of this service, we take off. So I'm going to give you Reflection, who is going to help us to fly.
I let it go. I release the things I'm clinging to. I release what's holding me, and I'm falling into God's love. I let it be. There's nothing more for me to do, nothing more to say. I'm just falling into God's love. I feel Spirit holding me, and it is lifting me up high. I fly. why. And I don't need to understand everything. Ooh, but it's by faith I fly, and it's by grace I see, I see. Come on, church. I feel Spirit moving me, and it is lifting me up high. I fly on a power I can't see. On the wings of love I fly. Come on, rest on your feet. Come on, church, come on. Of the Lord. Can we fly? Come on. Of the Yes, yes.
Wow, give it up for Sharon D. Henderson and Reflection. Oh my goodness. I said, Sharon, I want to bring some high energy into the service this week. And we went to looking at songs, and I heard that one, and I said, that's how I feel. That's what's going on. I fly. And the talk today is called We Are One. Last week, for those of you that were here, I am because we are. I wanted to get clear on the relationship between the pulpit and the pews. I like to close the gap, right? Whatever I am here, whatever you see, oh, Reverend Dereca, you are. Yes, you can only see it if you are it. If you didn't have it, you wouldn't know it when you saw it. So we are just reflections of each other. Whatever you are, I am. Whatever I am, you are. Now, I asked Richard to seat y'all right here in the front, so just come on up. We're starting service and we're doing it in a different order. So folks are like, I got there and you were already talking. I said, yeah, you might want to get here on time because it's we get ready to do it. So yeah, come on right on up here. We fill in the front so everybody knows we're here. I appreciate it. See, that's good. I like it right there. My beloveds, come on in. There was somebody, my friend told me, he said, yeah, I seen everybody tipping there. I said, they're not used to it. It's okay. We're going to get acclimated. But this is Freedom Summer. And for Freedom Summer, we're doing a whole series. So that talk last week, I am because we are, I was excited. I tried to pack everything into the first week. And so I'm going to just go a little slower now. And each week, we're going to pick a part of that and go a little bit deeper into it. So today, next week, we're going to do We Are the Community. Because y'all know I'm a community person, and so we're going to talk about that and our roles, rights, and responsibilities as a community. Then we have next week men's chorus, then we'll have New Day, and we're going to do We Are Love. because that's one of the things I hear most about this community. It's just so loving. You just come there and you feel that good feeling, that good energy. And then on the 30th, we're going to do We Are Family. Right, because we're not just a community, we are a family in here, and we look out for each other, care for each other, pray for each other, hang out with each other, eat together, all the things. And so we're going to have a musical jubilee on the 30th. And because our family extends beyond this walls, I got a message from Reverend Sunshine Michelle up at Oakland Center. And so we love all of our family wherever they are. And one of her team is going to be with us on the 30th, our brother and family, Kev Choice. Yes, we love our brother Kev. So we have a musical jubilee, lots of folks coming and singing, and Kev's going to do a couple songs. And it's also Youth and Family Sunday, youth and family. So just go ahead and bring the family. I really want to lift up our youth and family ministry. They are on second Sunday serving our teens, so they're available there for that today. And then next week on third Sunday, we're going to be serving all the rest of our children. And so please come, bring your children. We are open, and we're going to be growing, because the goal is to have all of that available every Sunday. And with your support as volunteers, we'll be able to do that. But today, our talk is, as you heard, we are one. Now, I don't know about you, but if you grew up like I grew up, if you hear that phrase, there's somebody that comes to mind immediately. Who is it? Frankie Beverly. And so our sacred yes, right, Reverend, I call everybody Reverend. Now, Sharon D. Henderson in Reflection said yes. When I said we are one, she said, well, let's just do it then. So East Bay, give another warm welcome to Reflection.
Yes. Come on, church, you know what to do. Can't understand why we treat each other in this way. Taking up time with the silly, silly games we play. We've got our love, and no matter how it's said and done, oh, we are one. And no matter what we do, we are one. And love will see us through. We are one. And that's the way it is. We are one. Come on, put your hands together. Come on, church. Act like you know what you're talking about. Sometimes I feel that we try to make each other sad. Things that we do, how we make each other feel so sad. We've got so much, we could all be having so much fun. Oh, we are one. From the very start, we are one. Deep down in your heart, we are one. And that's the way it is. We are one. Oh, yeah. never feel this way. Taking up time with the silly, silly games we play. We've got our love, and no matter what is said and done, we are one. No matter what we do, we are one. And love will see us through.
We are one.
And that's the way it is.
We are one.
We are one. No matter what we do,
We are one.
love will see us through.
We are one.
Oh, and that's the way it is.
We are one.
Oh, one more time, say we are one. No matter what we do,
We are one.
oh, our love will see us
We
through.
are one.
Oh, and that's the way it is.
We are one.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. You better give it up for Reflection. Lee Henderson on bass, Vino on drums, Patrick on piano, and Tony was doing something mean to the guitar over here. Woo! Come on, Sharon D. Henderson. Give it up for her singing her heart out. We love you. We love you, Reflection. Thank you so much. Wow. Y'all feeling it, East Bay? Yes, 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 yes. We are one. I am so grateful. So grateful. I could just talk about gratitude all day. Grateful for our music ministry, our youth ministry, our audiovisual, our practitioners, our board. I could just talk about gratitude all day, but I would be remiss if I didn't express gratitude for you.
Okay.
I mean, last week, y'all,
Yeah.
you showed up and showed out. I mean, it was packed in here from the front to the back and the side. And I really, you know, I can't think about it without tearing up a little bit. And then you just, you know, you came back. So that's a beautiful thing. I appreciate that. But you also gave last week in beautiful, beautiful ways. I hear from people, they wanted to donate, they want to volunteer. It's just a beautiful energy to be in. People were like, I ain't seen East Bay like that. We're just getting started. Yeah? We're just getting started. And raise your hand if you were here last week. Yes, this is what we're building. But also, I want to acknowledge that some of you watched and some of you shared online and shared it with other people. I was watching the little, you know, posters. You had to see the service. It went down, all the good things. And some of you do that. Oh, actually, I can do it right here on YouTube. So I'm going to do a rare thing. As a minister, I'm going to ask you to take out your phone. I'm just going to trust that when this is over, you'll put it away. Although I do hear some of you are taking notes on the phone, which is a beautiful thing. I want you to go to YouTube. Yes, go to YouTube. If you have that on your phone or you know how to find it on the web, go to YouTube. And I want you to just take note of what pops up when you go to YouTube. Don't show your neighbor. Don't show your neighbor. It's your own business. But I want you to take note of what pops up on YouTube, because YouTube operates on an algorithm which tracks what you are interested in. And so whatever is popped up is what YouTube thinks you are interested in. So I just want to invite you to make sure you put some things in your feed that feel edifying, that feel uplifting, that feel inspiring. All the cats are good. This is good. And I want to invite you to see that East Bay comes up in your feed. Some of y'all got to learn how to, y'all watching me on YouTube, we got to turn the volume down. Get the echo going on here. And in order to get East Bay to pop up on your phone, you have to, on your YouTube, you have to subscribe. So if you go to YouTube and then you type in East Bay Church of Religious Science, or just EBCRS, I think will get you there too. East Bay Church, JJ, thank you, will get you there. I want everybody to go, if you're not there already, to the East Bay Church page. Now this is an experiment. We're going to see if we can follow along. If you need help from your neighbor, that's okay. Your neighbor, help them turn the volume down, or help them, find the page. That's all right. That's all right. We're working and we're doing this together. This is community. Yeah, we are one, right? So go to the page for East Bay Church, and then go to channel. It's going to say view channel. JJ, give me if I get it wrong. Go to view channel. Oh, this is great. We learned about, this is intergenerational oneness right here. Raise your hand if you need some assistance. That's okay. This is how we bring it all together. You go to the place where it says view channel, and now you should be at the East Bay Church channel. Yes. And there's a button on the top that either says subscribed or subscribe. Now, if yours says subscribed, give yourself a hand clap. Now, if yours says subscribe, I'm going to ask you to click that right now. Now, for those of you that are afraid of subscriptions, this not going to give you a bunch of spam and a bunch of email. It just means that when you go to East Bay Church, and when you go to YouTube in the future, if I made a video or somebody's made a testimony or there's something special coming up, you will see that, right? And we want to make sure that you see that. Now, how I will know if in fact you did that is our numbers will change. Oh, we did it. So when you get to 1,000 subscribers, they allow you to put a donate button on your page. So I just want you to say, if you didn't do nothing else today, you helped out your church. Give yourselves a hand clap. Helping out your church is easier than you think. It's easier than you think. So we appreciate that. Now, if you're here, the other thing that a lot of you did was you brought people. And so I appreciate that. And so some of you are like, okay, yeah, I'm not subscribing. I just met you. So if you are here for the first time today, I'm going to invite you. We have two things we want to give you. Please stand if you're able. If you're here for the first time today, we want to give you two things. Stand and remain standing. Remain standing. Just come on, stand up. We got something for you. Yes. Stand, remain standing, because we got two things to give you. A packet is coming. We've got two over here too, Richard. Thank you so much. Richard Scott is amazing. Remain standing. Come on, stay up. If you're not able to stand or you don't like to stand, just wave your hand. I understand everybody doesn't. Just wave your hand, because we want you to get the two things we're going to give you. There's a packet coming, but while you're standing, stay on up. I know. We want to give you some love. So East Bay, I want you to do what you do. Stretch your hands out. And I want you to make sure, take a look and make sure that everyone standing has someone looking at them. Just take a look around and make sure that everyone standing, take a look back here and over here, everyone has something looking at them. So for those of you who are the first time, this is how we do what we do. Welcome to the East Bay Church.
Welcome to the East Bay Church.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being here.
We see you.
We see you.
We love you.
We love you.
We thank God for you.
We thank God for you.
We recognize God in you.
We recognize God in you.
Thank you for sharing your time with us.
Thank you for sharing your time with us.
All right. So here you are. Yes. Yes, this is how we do it. This is how we love. This is how we mean. When we say we are one, that's really a thing that we mean. And so I'm grateful. Okay, I think I have concluded all the business. And now let's get to the message. I said as I did this series and as I get an opportunity to stretch out a little bit, y'all don't mind if I stretch out a little bit. Now I'm here, I can just stretch out, take my time a little bit with this message. I want to make sure I tell you a little bit of my story in this journey called East Bay Church. I came for the first time in 1997 when I was pregnant with my daughter Nia. And that's how I keep time, because she'll be 26 this month. And yes, I know. People who've known her since she was little are like, wow. And I came and I heard the Declaration of Principles. And the first thing that struck me was this idea that truth could be taught in all religions. And that was something that I had believed for a long time, but I didn't think there would be any other place that believed it. I certainly didn't believe that there would be a church that said, that did the Muslim call to prayer, that had Rebecca Kaplan running down the aisle talking about the Jewish holidays, had the Buddhist meditation, and the Christ consciousness. I was like, wow. For sure interested in that kind of oneness. But when it really got good to me, is when I took a class. Because it's one thing to come and celebrate and have good music and good community. It's another thing to really get into this thing and see how it works. So I took the foundations class with Reverend E and Reverend Mwata, her son, and I walked into that class angry and brokenhearted. I had just separated from my partner. I see some nodding like I walked into it too, just that way, right? I walked in the foundations angry and brokenhearted. I had separated from my partner. I had grown up with my stepfather and dealt with some abuse and abandonment. In that situation, I had been holding on to everything in my life was his fault. And between the two of them, I had a lot going on inside me. And Reverend E talked about forgiveness. And I was like, y'all asking a lot. I've been holding this for a long time. I'm not sure I'm really ready to let it go. But Reverend Mwata talked about forgiving the driver that killed his father. And how it set him free. And I was like, whoa. These people aren't playing. They're walking the talk. I want that kind of freedom that he talked about. So this is Freedom Summer. So I had to tell you that my anger at my father was just running my life. I heard somebody say in a meeting the other day, if it's hysterical, it's historical. Say that. If it's hysterical, it's historical. So anything that gets you super, super triggered, you might want to look at the first time you felt that way. Because it's likely to have been in your childhood, in your family. So I worked on it. Soon I was loosening my grip on my partner that had left and was like, okay, there's possibility for me in the world to still be happy and have love. I wrote a letter like we did in Foundation to my father, not to send it, but at least to just move that energy in my heart. But there was one thing that I was, I'm a rebel. I was like, I hear you. But I was one of those that always had my hand up. People eventually would roll their eyes like, oh, here she go. But Reverend E said, I don't know about the rest of y'all, but she getting something out of this. Because she came with her questions. She's wanting to know if this thing is going to work in her life. So I raised my hand and I said, well, what about slavery? Y'all want to do all this forgiveness and we're one with everybody without exception. And I was like, what about slavery? And Reverend E looked at me and she said, Talk to me about something you know about. You know, I'm not used to being checked like that. But she was like, you haven't been a slave. I mean, she was right, so I had to just take that check. Sometimes you got to learn how to take a check, amen? And so I want to talk to you today. Last week I talked a little bit about Dr. King's sermon, Birth of a New Nation. And I like that. I got inspired by it because I sort of feel like we're at this rebirth moment here at East Bay, and I wanted to hear what he said, what he lifted up, what he was noticing. And so when I got into the story of the sermon, as I said, it was about the independence of Ghana. You know, our church has a strong relationship with Ghana. Folks win and they win again, and individuals here have lived there, and, you know, Brother Tete is our brother with our family, and so we have this relationship. So I was like, ooh, it's about Ghana. And this was the transition of independence from being the Gold Coast, was the name, to Ghana, right? This was the transition from being under the rule of Europe to being under the rule of self, right? And Dr. King was so fascinated with the thing that would fuel his message and his life, which was nonviolence. And what's important about nonviolence is it requires us not to have a mindset of enemy, not to have a mindset of hate, not to have a mindset of fear. And so he was observing the way, and you will see this in other leaders. You'll see it in Gandhi, you'll see it in Mandela, you'll see it in testimonies of people who, in the midst of tyranny, oppression, genocide, right, decided to operate from a spiritual principle. Mandela was in the prison praying for people. Got out, and the first thing he talked about was forgiveness, right? And this was also true of Kwame Nkrumah and the birth of the nation of Ghana. So here's what Dr. King said. He was there for the whole proceedings where they turned over power. And he said, the Duchess of Kent walked in. The Duchess, who represented the Queen of England, no longer had authority now. She was just a passing visitor. The night before, she was the official leader and spokeswoman for the Queen, and therefore the power of the leadership and the throne of the Gold Coast. But now, you know how Dr. King preached something, but now it's Ghana. It's a new nation now, and she is just an official visitor like Dr. King and Ralph Bunche and Coretta Scott King and everybody else, because this is a new nation. Yes. Now, what does this have to do with us? We got a lot of folks coming back. Yeah. We have a lot of folks who we had some stuff with, right? We have a lot of folks in our lives, in our families, in our homes, at our jobs, that we have a story about. We have a story about the hurt that they've caused. We have a story of unforgiveness. And even when we do a little work around here, because you're going to hear me talk about forgiveness over and over and over and over again, because I know if we're going to talk about freedom, we're going to have to talk about forgiveness. But even when we do a little forgiveness work, we might be willing to let you out of jail and let you stay over there, right? Sometimes that's the best we can do. There are things that we need to get some support to forgive. I believe in therapy. I believe in other modalities of healing, and I think it's all right that we say we need support, but I want us to be clear what the goal is in front of us. The goal in front of us is not, I don't hate you anymore. Oh, it's quiet. You like, Reverend Dereca, that's about all I got. I'm working hard to get to I don't hate you anymore. But I want you to bring to mind that person that is hard to forgive. Because if you can't bring them in here where we're praying and celebrating the oneness of all people, there's nowhere you can let it go. I want you to bring it right here. This room is prayed up. Bring them here. And I want to tell you what Kwame Nkrumah did. He took power, let the Duchess go and the name of the Gold Coast go and let Ghana go. But they had a celebration later that night, and Kwame Nkrumah decided to dance with the Duchess of Kent. Woo! Dr. King was in awe. Here she was, the former leader, the tyranny, the oppressor, the man as the woman. You know how we do it. The one I can't stand, the one that caused all the pain. Not just for him, but for his whole nation. She represents the hate that is possible for a whole nation. She represents the idea of sin that we were taught, some of us. We don't teach sin here. Because when we say we're one, we're all one with God. We are all perfect children of God, and I'm going to tell you that if you try to make an exception for the person you were just thinking about, well then so are you judged. For the things you have done, the secrets you hold. Judge not, lest ye be judged. So here they are, they're dancing. And this is what Dr. King said about it. He said, we must come to the point of seeing that our ultimate aim is to live with all men as brothers and sisters under God and not be their enemies. See, this is the kind of oneness we're talking about. So I just want you to, that same person that you brought to mind, I just want you to imagine that they're a child of God. Just imagine. I didn't say you had to believe yet. Just imagine. See, I didn't come to play. We're going to do the hard stuff. Because this is freedom. The path to freedom is letting go of the thing that ails you, that hurts you, that holds you back, that holds you down, that wakes you up in the night with a nightmare. The thing that has you by the hand, has you by the throat, clenches your heart. We have to be willing to let it go, and we have the power, the dominion to bring it right here and leave it. Yes. All you have to do is choose. And I'm not telling you it's simple, but I'm telling you it's beautiful. Let me tell you what Ernest Holmes said about it. This is in The Thing Called You, page 110. It is certain that you will have to love your fellow man if you wish to be happy. Y'all insert gender there. You know, this is. Your union with God implies your union with everything that lives. Do not be afraid of this. Do not shun the thought of it. Divine union means union with everything. This does not mean that you love those who are closest to you any less. You merely love all humanity more. Think for a moment, see, this is where I got the idea. Think for a moment about the few upon whom you have lavished particular affection. So now I want you to bring to mind somebody that you really, really love. That is easy to love, that is good to love. It could be your child, it could be your pet, it could be your grandma, it could be somebody on TV. But who do you really love? I mean, you know, we love a lot of ways. Now, permit your imagination, Ernest Holmes says, to include more people in that. Say to yourself, what would it be like if these few whom I love so much were multiplied so that finally everyone I meet should arouse in me the same deep affection? So you got that one, your little one, your best friend. You got that one. What if you expected to love everyone like that? Everybody you meet. You know that smile you get for somebody? We were talking about my brother Reggie Bass yesterday, and that smile. Woo, that smile. There was never a time where you didn't get that smile. What if there was something in him that said, I see you and I see something good and amazing that brings me joy. It did not matter who you were, what your story was, what your history was. He didn't need to know that. This is what we can choose to imagine if we want, that everyone is just as good and wonderful as that one that's easy for you to love. Holmes says, dare to lose your small affection. Ooh, I like that. Small affection. You got a tight circle. I have a friend who says, I don't use the word love. That's only for my family. And I think, ooh, you're missing out. You're missing out. I tell him, I said, like I signed something to him. I said, like Dereca. Right? You're missing out. With that fear of giving love, you're missing out. Give it freely. I'm not talking about, I'm not talking about free love. I'm talking about agape love. I'm talking about just giving people the benefit of the doubt that when you see them right off top, as my brother would say, off rip, I'm imagining you as God. That's what I'm imagining when I meet you, when I see you. And then you can go ahead, if you're feeling real good, and extend that to the people you want to forgive. This was so good to me. I got more to say about Ernest Holmes here. I love it. I'm really just back in my element where it's like Holmes and I are just hanging out. He said, learn to be at home in the universe. No more loneliness. No more sense of isolation. Who feels isolated sometimes? Feels a little lonely sometimes, right? Here's the key. See God in everyone. The same God with a different face. The same animating principle with a different form. The same divine presence clothed in individual expression. Let me tell you what he's talking about. God shows up in a lot of different ways. In a lot of different people, in a lot of different situations, and you go, ooh, I see you, because I'm looking for God. I'm looking for God in everyone. I'm making up a story. Y'all, some of you know I have driving opportunities for growth. I'm working on it. But one of the things somebody told me, people who've been in my car are laughing harder. One of the things somebody told me is make up a story. Make up a story about the person who cut you off or the person who's driving too slow or too fast. Just make up a story about why. Because it will help you. Whenever somebody is driving too slow, I see my grandma. And I don't want nobody honking at her, so I'm not honking at nobody. I want you to send my grandma good thoughts, so I'm sending your grandma good thoughts. That's what I make up, right? Whenever somebody is zigzagging and doing the most, I make up a story of who's at the hospital needing their support. What child is at home that just had, I make up a story. And it helps. Now, I haven't perfected this making up a story, but I am working on it. I am working on it. Because again, forgiveness, this idea of oneness, it's not for the other person. This person in the car don't know you, don't care, is on their own trajectory. It's for you. Because all that honking is making your day suck. Not their day. That's what you don't want. And there is a payoff. If you practice this, oneness and forgiveness, I am you, you are me, there before the grace of God go I. If you practice it, here's what Holmes says is the payoff. There is a fountain of life from which if a man drink, he shall never thirst again. Your search is after this fountain that you may be immersed in it. You cannot plunge into the waters of real life unless you take everyone else in with you. Who do you have to take? Everyone else. Ooh. The universe is one system, not two political parties. Uh-oh. I mean, you have to take everyone else with you. So you've got to go to that place in your mind where you feel unforgiveness. I have had the opportunity to practice this over and over and over again. If you know my story, you know that when I became a minister, you have to do panels. And I sat outside my panels praying for R. Kelly. Because that was where the unforgiveness was in my heart. I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't get there. Reverend E, in the midst of all that I was doing in the activism for Oscar Grant, came in here and said we have to pray for Messerly. Ooh, that was hard. But that's the reality of oneness, because if you can pray for them, then the people in your life are no problem. Wherever your consciousness is holding somebody in prison, this is the path to your freedom, is letting them go. I had a practitioner session yesterday because there was somebody I was holding on to. And what happens is you can do it on your own, great. But if you can't, get help. Ask somebody who loves them to talk to you about it. I had somebody do that for me last week, didn't I? Right? Had somebody say, well, tell me what you love about this person I really don't get. I'm just going to say I don't get. Right? And she went to talking about how she feels so good being in her presence and how supportive she was. And I was like, thank you so much for sharing that with me, because it helped me shift. That this person who I don't get is so good to this person that I love, it helped me shift. And of course, let me tell you what happened. When I shifted with that person, they shifted with me. Automatic. It's automatic. It works like that. Because this is what we teach. Change your thinking, change your life. This stuff really works. I went to a practitioner and said, I got this thing. She gave me activities to do. She prayed with me. She recorded the prayer. Like, in case you forget, listen to this again. Right? Because I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it's worth it.
Yes.
I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying you want to be free of it. You really do. So whatever works. Whether it's therapy, it's prayer, take the classes, watch some good, positive videos on YouTube. I don't know what your thing is, but get about that business. Because this is the work we are about. So I had an aha moment. Y'all, I love the aha moments. Because forgiveness, the deepest root of it, is often forgiving ourselves.
Yes. Yes.
That's often the deepest root. So I've been holding myself hostage a long time. A long time, maybe as far back as I can remember, because I had this idea that was actually taught to me of not being enough. And it didn't matter, you look at other people and you think, oh, they're so successful and they're so well loved and they're so well liked. That is no indicator, let me tell you. Ask me how I know. That people aren't so hard on themselves. We're so hard on ourselves. And sometimes we take this religious science thing and we turn it upside down and backwards and say, well, it's my fault. I must not be thinking right. I must not be praying right. I must not be doing it right. There's something wrong with me because my life hasn't changed the way it should have. It hasn't changed like her life has changed. It hasn't changed like their life has changed. I see them doing good. How come I'm not doing good? That's what we do with this tool. You can abuse any consciousness. You can abuse any principle, right? So don't beat yourself with it. So I talk to God, and often I journal as these conversations are going on. Thank you, Reverend Deborah, for letting it be something we could all be out in public with. So I talked to God, and I had this aha moment that I'm going to read to you from my journal. You know, if I stretch out, we're going to get real personal in here. You know, do you know that they teach ministers not to talk about yourself from the pulpit? Yeah, they do. There's this whole thing about don't come and bleed on the pulpit. You shouldn't be talking about talk about what you've already healed. And I was like, see, that's what I'm talking about. When I talk about closing the gap between the pews and the pulpit, right? It's about saying, I'm working it just like you're working it. Let's work it together. We are one. And I just, God told me to share this with y'all anyway, so I'm learning to be obedient. That's how I got this pulpit. I was like, all right, okay. So this is the message. What if I don't lack anything? What if I already am everything I aspire to be? What if I am incredibly disciplined and obedient and I just don't know it? I don't know if anybody else struggles with those too, but what if this whole time the issue has been that I have been trying to be perfect the way I was raised to be? And that I keep seeking places to help me cope with my feelings of imperfection. But that those feelings are actually the only problem. What if? Part of being human is that you will be disappointed in yourself, that even this moment of realization that you are having right now, which is 100% accurate, will take time to integrate into your thinking. But the Holmes that you are reading right now is reminding you that it doesn't have to take time because you are unwell or defective or disobedient. I don't know if any of you all struggle with those things, but this is just me. It only takes as much time as it takes you to shift your thinking. That's it. You want to know how long it takes? That's how long it takes. So the stinking thinking about yourself is the problem. And what you can feel in Holmes is the immediacy of the opportunity. What am I saying? I'm saying that Holmes says there's no time and space in God. This teaching says you can have this change right now to the degree that you can accept the idea that you and God are one. That everything that you are, you can count as part of the journey. You can count as part of the opportunity. You can count it all as good, no matter what it looks like. Didn't I just tell you to forgive that person over there? Well, then you too surely can be forgiven for whatever gap you think there is between divinity and yourself. There's no gap. There's no lack. There's no limitation. Listen, God told me to give it to you. Just get. Okay, so I said, okay, God. This is me talking now. So now what? God says, celebrate. Really? I'm reading you for real. It says, really? Yes. Celebrate that you are already free, already whole, perfect, and complete, that there is not and never will be anything else you have to become to be good, perfect, enough. Oh, that one right there. Lovable, worthy. Nothing that you have to do. The start is the finish. It's a circle, not a line. What do I mean? It's not a destination that you're going to get to when I work hard enough, when I pray long enough, when I'm smart enough, when I'm pretty enough, then I'm going to have. Then I'm going to have a partner, a good job, money. Then I'm going to have what I need. That's not what it says. It's a circle. And every single point in it, no matter what is happening in your life, you and God are one. You know, y'all know the little footprints thing. God, where were you? I was carrying you. That's where I was. It's a circle, not a line, and all of it is useful to support you in being human. Because if you were perfect, you didn't need to come here and have this human experience. You could have just kept on being God in the non-body realm, in the spiritual realm, because you are a spirit. You know that. It's not that your spirit is in your body is in your spirit. You are a spiritual being, and this is the form you took. God decided, I want to come in a whole bunch of different forms, and you are just one of those. The perfect individuation of God in the flesh. Whatever God wants to do on this planet, it's got to do it through life. So it keeps creating more and more opportunities for it to express itself. You are an opportunity for God to express itself. The express lane to that is to know who you are. The express lane to that is to know who you are. So God is saying to me, in being human, all of this is useful to support you in being human, but none of it, I'm talking about your life now, I'm talking about the trials and tribulations, the up and down, none of it is necessary to realize that you are divine right now. Life doesn't have to be perfect to be wonderful. And here's what it says. I got so excited, I wrote in my journal, yes, girl. I just want to tell you, God talks to me in my own voice. This right here, dog, I swear that's what it says. This right here, dog, this testimony is the rock on which your ministry will be built. This is it. Every week I'm going to say it in a different way. God and I are one. If that's true for me, it's true for you, because we are one. I'm going to tell you all the different ways God has revealed this. God has worked something out by just reminding me this one principle. God is all there is. There's nothing else. And if that's still kind of uncomfortable for you, take some classes. Because that's where you get to ask your questions. Well, what about slavery? Right? You get to ask those questions. So I want to invite you to get off the sidelines and get into this Freedom Summer thing that we are doing here. I'm going to invite you to come to church or watch church every week. This is a series, and we're going to take it little by little and get into all these different aspects of freedom. I'm going to invite you to share this with someone who you think could benefit. Because when you have somebody else to talk about with, that actually is when it gets good. It gets you get to tenderize it a little bit. You're like, you know what she said in service, I was thinking about it. And what you think about that? Right? Because this is yours to do. God gave me this, not for me. Well, for some of this is for me. Y'all do what you want. But it's for us. Right? People come up to you after serving and they say, oh, you were talking to me today. That's intentional. That's the whole point of church, right? So when you share it with someone, give them the little link, and we're getting our little online presence together. We're going to have a little version where it's just 20 minutes of the talk, or, all of that. We're getting it together. But share it with someone, because as I say all the time, you may be the only spiritual text they ever read. This is how we communicate in the information age. We share. I want you to get involved with what we're doing in this community. If you're online, on the website, ebcrs.org, there's something called community programs, right? And you can go there and click on it and fill out a little form saying you want to get involved. I want to hear things that would excite you about getting involved. On July 23rd, we're going to have a community conversation after service. Take the classes. I'm going to talk more about those during the announcements. I'm going to start teaching a class, Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life, at later in this month. I want to just say one more thing before we close. I talk about God a lot in a lot of different ways. I was raised in a church where we pray, and we pray to God. But I want you to understand how we do things here is we're not praying to a person in the sky. We're talking about a force. We're talking about a force for good. We're talking about an energy like love, like electricity. I don't care, as you will hear me say over and over, what you call it. Whatever path, when I told you at the beginning, what attracted me to this philosophy is wherever truth is taught, right? So if that's the Ephah religion for you, do that, right? If it's Jesus is your Lord and Savior, do that. But what we're talking about here is that there is an energy that runs through all of these things that's just out there in a tree, in nature. There's an energy in the breath of an elder or a child. There's something that is alive that is calling to you. When you listen for it, you'll hear it. Yes. Right in your body, right in your breath. You'll have this moment they call the quickening. So when I'm talking about God, I'm talking about all of that, right? So when I say give it to God, I'm saying trust in that flow. Last week we talked about flow, that double Dutch thing. There is something that's happening that is good. I want to be in that. Whether it is the good smell outside, whether it is the good love of someone who loves, whatever the good is, that's what I'm talking about. And I hope that this community will be a place where you can feel that. And I pray, I intend, I know that we will do the work together to get out of the way of anything that looks like it's blocking that. Yeah. Are you ready for your change? Yes. Who's ready for your change? Yes. Let's do that. Let's be in the business as we go into prayer of getting ready for our change. We're going to bring the prayer box. Sharon's going to lead us.
Tired of the guilt that brings me pain. Now is the time for me to let go of the shame.
That's right.
The past is behind me.
Come on, East Bay.
I can see a new day. Now I'm ready for my change. Now I'm ready for my change.
It's all right. It's all right to say you're ready. So as we just go within in this moment, we recognize that there is a God that is of our own understanding, in this presence, this power, this peace, this joy, this order, this healing balm in Gilead. It's ours to claim. It is the truth about who we are. I am that God. I am its perfect child. I am enough. I am lovable. I am worthy. I am a divine healing presence. Wherever I go, God is. Whoever I see is God. I already know that I'm one with the thing that heals all things, that perfects everything that concerns me. I already know, and I invite you to know that there's only one of us. We are one. And so where two or more are gathered, wherever you show up, you can just say and affirm and know that even in this is the presence and power, the peace, the healing, the prosperity, the health, the wellness, the joy, the forgiveness of God. Is right where you are, right with that person you brought into your consciousness. Just put them together, the one that you love so much and the one that's causing you so much pain, and just say, we are all one. And so I just declare that right here, every prayer that's in this box and every prayer that's in this room today, I know people in this room are mourning, people in this room are praying for loved ones, and I know that God is right there in the mix. God is in the hand of every person who touches the person you are loved. They are safe and held and protected and uplifted and healed by this presence, by this power. It has no lack of limitation. It has no time. It has no space. It has nothing that holds it back. And yet, it's our opportunity now to know the truth for ourselves first and foremost. And as we know the truth for ourselves, we know the truth for everyone in our lives, and we can just see them whole, perfect, and complete, regardless to what they ever did, regardless to what was said about them, regardless to the conditions. I'm saying God is in the bill collector. When that call comes in the phone, you got to say, I see something different than what you see. I'm saying God is in whoever you see is in the enemy. They're in the other political party that you've wasted so much time hating. I'm telling you that God is in the person that left you, but it's also in the person that's coming. I'm telling you that there is a God that is a healer of everything that is broken in your heart. I don't care how back and how far your parents hurt you, your person left you. I don't care if you don't know what to do with your child. God knows this divine force, this energy, and all we've got to do, all that we can do is get into the flow of it. So I declare that that's exactly what we're doing right here today. We're in the flow of it. There's no accident that you are the one that showed up here, that watched it whenever you watched it, that came to the sanctuary. There's no accident, because you are the one that God is saying, in you, my child, I am well pleased. Don't hold back nothing from yourself, because I'm not holding back anything from you. The blessings are right here. Just open your hand and let go. Let go of that tight grip you have on the past, on the mistakes that you think you made. Let go of your idea that you are not enough. Just let it go. And then what we want to do is spend all of our time saying, thank you, God. Thank you to the universal spirit. Thank you for the flowers, for the trees. Thank you for the one person that I know loves me. And if you got more than one person, then all day you get to be grateful. Thank you for the person that I love. Thank you for the East Bay Church. Thank you for whenever, wherever I feel sanctified, edified, uplifted. If it's ever happened to you, even one time, that you feel joy, that you feel a peace in your spirit, then just say thank you for that. Because that thing, what we think upon, it grows and grows and grows. And I'm telling you, there's a whole garden of consciousness in gratitude. But sometimes the hardest thing for us to do is to let go.
Let go.
See, there's a law, and it's responding to what you believe. It's saying, oh, okay. You believe there's not enough? Oh, okay. You believe somebody's out to get you? Oh, okay. You believe it's your fault. Cancel that. Cancel that. Cancel that. And just trust in that flow to handle it. When you plant a seed, you don't ask what is happening in the soil, you trust. You ain't got to dig it up. If you keep digging it up and taking it back and saying, are you growing? It's never going to grow. That's God. The soil is God. Take your idea of what it is that you are claiming for yourself, not what it is I want, what it is I am, what it is I deserve, what it is my birthright. Put it in the soil of God and see if it doesn't grow. Just let it go. Just let it go. And trust that flow. Trust that flow. And if you're ready, just join me in saying Ashe. Amen. Amen. And so it is.
Tired of the guilt that brings me pain.
Come on, East Bay.
Now is the time for me to let go of the shame. The past is behind me. I see a new day. Now I'm ready for my change. Now I'm ready for my
Stand up if you're able, if you're willing. Say, I forgive me. I forgive me.
Everything that I've been holding on to, I let go. I surrender.
I surrender.
I surrender. I'm ready for my change. I'm ready for my change. Say, I forgive me. I forgive me. Sing it for yourself. Everything that I've been holding on to, I let go. I surrender. I surrender. I'm ready for my change. And I'm ready for my change. Now I'm ready for my change. Now I'm ready for my change.
Thank you. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Reflection. It's a wonderful day. It's a wonderful day, East Bay? Yes. It's tissue. Just make sure it gets passed around. We're ready. We're ready. This is how we do it. This is how we make change. And so now is our time for gracious giving. I love that term, gracious giving. We've been talking about the flow, and if financial flow is something you'd like to have more in your life, I want to just invite you to consider the possibility that it's time to do some letting go. Letting go of the idea that there's not enough, letting go of the idea that it's not coming to you. When you give, it comes back. And I'm going to keep telling you, it doesn't matter to me whether you give here or you give someplace else. That's not what's important. What's important is that you loosen your grip. Yeah. You loosen your grip on prosperity, on money. Money is energy. Loosen your grip. Loosen your grip on that I can't love because I might get hurt. Loosen your grip. Loosen your grip on yourself. Right? All that bondage of I'm not enough, I'm not doing enough. So when we do gracious giving, we have a statement. Let's see, is that where we are? You know, here, I want you to say this with me. As I give thanks for the good now flowing into my life, I gladly share that good with others. The more I give, the more I receive. And so it is. That's the truth, y'all. How many people have a testimony? The more you give, the more you receive. Right. This is the old school version that I love. Y'all know I'm old school. So when Sharon said she was going to sing this, I said, oh, it's no question. There's so many different ways you can give. There's actually a terminal in the back I just found out where you could give your credit card. You can go online. You can hold something up to the screen. You can mail, text, Zelle. It's all happening. And if you can give automatically, you be the foundation. Come on, Sharon.
Beat God-given.
Somebody knows it. Sing it.
No matter how.
Oh, look at y'all. Y'all all know it. I love it. Come on.
Just as sure as you are living, that God is the heaven inside. The more you give, the more God gives.
I just give thanks for every gift that was given, handed into the basket, put into the terminal, given online, made automatic, or every gift that was just in the heart. Ready but not yet able today. I just know that it's all energy and it's all God. And so I just bless this offering knowing that it moves into the good that is the East Bay Church. It moves into the community. It moves into the ministries. It moves into the flow that says God is the source and supply. And as we give to our community, so we receive its blessings. And so it is. Okay, so we have a few announcements. There's some good things happening we want you to know about. Youth and Family Ministry is open. Please encourage folks to come. We're ready. We had teens today. We're going to have young people next week, so please come every second and third Sunday until you say you want to volunteer, and then we'll have it every week. Okay, great. We have visioning every second Monday of the month. So where's Dr. Cynthia Chang? Right there in the back is going to be leading us in visioning. Visioning is a way for us to know we are one with God as we chart our direction. We have classes. Remember, I'm serious now. You really want to make this thing work? Yes. Take the classes. So Reverend Dr. Ona and Reverend Dr. Sherry are teaching. Reverend Dr. Ona is teaching Meditations More Than You Think. That class is open. Reverend Dr. Sherry's course is actually closed, but if you are a person who just knows this stuff and just wants a refresher on the essential earnest and how it works in your life, see Reverend Dr. Sherry, and she can tell you about that. Edible gardening. I got to eat some of Caitlin's food yesterday. I need to tell you, that is a magician. I mean, we had some fig ice cream, fig leaf ice cream. Listen, we were like all plotting on how we could sell it as a church. So you need to go out there and see Caitlin in the garden. This is July 22nd, 29th, and August 5th and 12th. So you can drop in. But let's support our beautiful garden ministry. July 23rd. You got a lot of ideas. I know you keep grabbing me after service. Well, you know what we need to do, Reverend Dereca. This is your time. You want to know when to tell me? Right here, July 23rd. We're going to have some salad. If you want to stay, bring some food. We'll have some salad for you. If you need to eat at home, go home and we'll watch it there. It's going to be both in person and virtual, 12:30 to 2:30 after service on the 23rd. And then on the 30th, we'll celebrate our graduates because we have some folks graduating from high school and college that we want to celebrate. And also on the 30th, we are going to have our musical Jubilee with all kinds of special music, including our brother Kev Choice will be with us. So on the 30th, we're going to celebrate. So I think this has been amazing. Y'all had a good time today? I really... You know, being a new minister is an interesting thing. The week one was, it was beautiful, and it was a lot. But today, you being here, it feels like there's a lot of people who come to look. But you get a sense, real quickly, right, of people who feel fed. Yes. Right? And I get fed. And I can't tell you how excited I am about that. I'm going to hang out in the back, especially want to meet our folks who are here for the first time. Make sure you come and say hi and meet me. And I'm going to turn it back to the amazing Carol Johnson Williams, who will take us out in prayer. Yes.
On? Yes. You can hear me? Okay. Thank you so much. Let's give Reverend Dereca East Bay love. Woo! Yes. Each time she talks, I get this aha moment, right? And that's when we take the notes. So I had my phone out, I'm in notes, and I'm taking the note. And I said, you know, I've heard this message many a time in terms of forgiveness, and I know the power of it. And I said, oh, even when I get into the flow, the people that I might think are trying to keep me out or don't want me in the pool, those also get to join me in the fountain of forgiveness. Because I'm thinking, oh, well, I've forgiven everybody. I've been moving through, I'm doing my work and so forth. There's always a new revelation because something new is always happening. Yes. So even those who I think, well, you know, that's for them, that's their work to do. I'm good. Just because I need to say that, I know, okay, that's your work. So let's just come together in thanksgiving and allowing for a moment for all that has come forth and that which is seeking to reveal itself in, as, and through you and each and every one of us has a place to land. The fallow soil has been broken up and crumbled and watered, and now it's soft, and these seeds are able to germinate. I can taste the fruit already. And so as we go in our seemingly individualized ways, we know that we walk and live and move in the oneness. Wherever we are, East Bay is. And East Bay is all that we are. All the love, all the joy, all the forgiveness, all of the openness, all of the truth-seeking and living is who and what we are. And we give of that which we have partaken of, and it multiplies. So with all of this and so much more, in thanksgiving, we let it be. As we declare Ashe, Amen, and so it is. The prayer room. The prayer room is open. After church, practitioners with stoles and those who you know practice the life of prayer are available for prayer. And that's what we love to do, and that's what we do. Changes lives. So anything that you want to celebrate, anything you want amplified, anyone that you're like, I want to get in the flow with them too, can you touch and agree with me in spirit with that? The answer is yes. So whether that's in the sanctuary, in the garden, in the prayer room, we're here. On the telephone line, online, we are here. We love you. We thank God for you. There's nothing you can do about that because we're one.
And that's the way it is, we are one. Oh, this way. We're taking up time with the silly, silly games we play. We've got our love, and no matter how it's said and done, we are one. No matter what we do, we are one. And love will see us through, we are one. And that's the way it is, we are yeah, we are one, we are one. And love will see us through, we are one. And that's the way it is, we are one. Whoa.